we are with Karuna, who once upon a time was a Data on Kubernetes community intern. And she found us and reached out in a very interesting way, but I'll let her tell that story. So Karuna, let folks let folks know who you are and a little bit about what you're doing right now, but also about how you found out about the Data on Kubernetes community and just the unique approach that you used when you applied.
Okay, okay. So, Data on Kubernetes community, I found it through we make devs, which was community classroom back in that time. And I was like involved in pretty much so many communities, and I found this community super interesting with like having Bart doing music plus having tech, so it was really nice combo. And when I read the application of Data on Kubernetes for interns, uh, there was a line say be creative, so I went ahead and recorded myself giving a rap doing a rap, and that's how I did my application to Data on Kubernetes. Apart from that, I did some illustrations, gave a talk on DoK Explorers Day, and I was also part of the transcript team. So I helped folks get onboarded and help with the transcripts too. That's what I did in my intern time.
Very good. Now, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing now and what's been, your biggest victory up until this point.
So after DOK, I got into Major League Hacking. So I was like into hackathons and all stuff from the beginning. And I got a chance to work with them. So they asked me to apply as a coach. And I really didn't think that I would get into it because, me being an introvert, even when on calls, I used to be like, oh, this. But yeah, so that was my biggest victory. Like, so I went so out of my comfort zone, and I learned a lot of stuff, even though that was a short period of time in which I have worked with folks. But I met thousands of people in that time and learned a lot. Learned how to communicate, learned how to do stuff in like a way out of this computer world, and it was super fun.
Very good. I know you said you touched on, being an introvert and some of the, the challenges and learning experiences there. Is there anything that you would say what's been, the biggest challenge or something that that you got through and what you learned through that process?
Sure. So biggest challenge for me was to get as out of my comfort zone, which was probably like I hesitate to talk to people like a lot. Then I went on doing conferences, like even if it's virtual, I like stammer a lot or maybe forget my words, or happens a lot, like I get nervous even when started to speak on video calls. I used to be like, oh, shaky, and and now it's been a like nice journey from where I was to where I am, so I can easily go on up on stage and talk to people, give a talk, and do stuff. So that's great.
That's
I'm proud of
fantastic.
myself with that.
And you should be. And with that in mind, you're giving a talk in KubeCon, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, tell us about your talk in KubeCon. You're
Okay.
gonna, yeah.
The talk on KubeCon, right? So that this talk is a lightning talk. So I got into technical writing recently with GSOD, and I was also contributing to CNCF glossary in between. And I found a few ways where like students who want to contribute to code are not able to do that because they think, oh, this issue is so big, this code base is so big. But I found a way to do that using technical writing. So in technical writing, basically you learn about stuff and you explain it to them, right? So in that way you learn more about whatever you wanted to learn, and even from that you can try making some, small code samples. So by doing it you are also doing code, and slowly and steadily, once you like understand stuff by writing, you will get into code and you can do code contributions too. So that's how in an abstract way my talk would be.
Fantastic. That's great. And, you now have quite a bit of experience. For folks that don't have that much experience, what's the best piece of advice that you can give to people that are, getting started on their Kubernetes journey, cloud native journey?
Best piece of advice, I would say, right, ask right questions. And getting started is a bit overwhelming, we all know that. But uh, when you find a right person who can guide you, do not leave them. Keep on asking questions, and don't hesitate to think that, hey, I'm not getting this. Or you might feel like you are in the square one still now. Like, you might have progressed a bit, but you still feel that I am still on square one. That's okay. Your progress might be slow, but you are doing gradual progress. So don't forget about that. Give a pat of back on your back, and keep doing what you're doing. You will do great.
It's wonderful advice and very practical, as you said. For a lot of people, it can be overwhelming, but be patient, give it time, try to focus on finding the right person. I think that's a great way of looking at it. Last but not least, you're very active. You're very visible, and it's something that I think a lot of people as well too might struggle with figuring out. What's the best way for me to learn in public? What are some things that work for you?
So learning in public for now, uh, tweeting works for me, and talking to people, as now I have crossed this boundary of not talking to talking. So that works for me mostly, because I can talk to a human in front of me saying that, hey, I have solved this, and they might give me some feedback which could be helpful. Or sometimes they just listen like a rubber duck. Rubber duck debugging, right? So you can do that if you don't have a person. But if you do it, or if you write a blog, or you can go live on YouTube, or just make a video and try to explain whatever you have learned. That way, you can improve yourself, see how your tone is, or see how your explanation is. So I made few mistakes, that's fine. I got to know that, hey, okay, I need to explain this a bit more in a way that people would understand. It's not how I understood, but it's how other audience would understand. So you will understand your audience, and you will know the topic more deeply, and then you won't be able to, like, oh, I don't know this, how can I explain. You won't be at that stage. Now if you understand your topic deeply, just for the sake of your audience, even if you're doing that, that's great.
And that's wonderful advice. And like you said, make mistakes. Not a problem. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day of my life, and I don't plan on changing that because that's part of being human. Karuna, this is wonderful advice. I'm sure a lot of people are going to benefit from it. So get prepared to get quite a few questions, some more interactions either on Slack or on Twitter. And very excited about seeing you in person in Amsterdam and KubeCon. All right. So see you soon. Yes. Cheers.